Good morning, this is Carrie with Canary Quilts, and I have been following Pat Sloan on her spooky sampler Quilt Along. The quilt pattern is actually by Polka Dot Chair. Melissa Mortensen made the pattern, and Pat Sloan has been doing a quilt along every Monday. And we're on week 2, and this week we did the broomsticks and the small pumpkins of this quilt. And I'm gonna show you how I put these together. And if you like the pattern, you can find it online with at many shops. I got mine off Etsy. Fat Quarter Shop has it. You can, if you search for it, you can find it. You can also buy just the pattern without the fabric and use your own fabrics. But this is week 2, and this is how I put together my block. Last week we did these big Ohio squares, and this week we're doing the brooms and the small pumpkins. So I've already pulled out the fabric that we're going to use for the brooms. I've got the pattern all set to go for the brooms. And there's going to be some flying geese in this pattern. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got my pieces all cut out for the broomsticks that I'm going to be doing. And she suggested cut one broomstick, but I like to cut everything at once, so I cut both of my broomsticks out to put together. So this is the broomstick handle. There's 2 pieces of and then these are the 2 broomsticks that you're going to see, and then these are all the background pieces. So what she's going to have you do is start with the flying geese, which is going to be this gray and these oranges to make the bottom of the broomstick here. So we're going to start with that, and I'm going to go get those sewn, and I'll be right back. So I just wanted to add that she has you start with the flying geese, but she also gives you instructions in the quilt on how to do flying geese. So you're not on your own for that. I'm going to fold these open, or iron these open. So that's what the front looks like. This is what the back looks like. Looks funny, but we're going to be trimming this into a square block. That's how it looks. Now we're going to put the other side on. There's that one. our broomstick. Now I'm going to do the other one. Get close. Here's our broomsticks. So all we really have left to do is sew this to this. We're going to sew that there. And we're going to sew this to this. So we've got one big, basically framed out piece of broomstick. So I'm going to take these over to my machine and get all these pieces sewn together. Okay, here's the start of my small pumpkin blocks. There's going to be 4 of them. And these are the 4 pumpkin, these are the blocks for the pumpkins right here. These are what I chose, and I fussy cut these 2 out. Here's the stem. This is the leaf on the pumpkin, and these are all the background pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is take these tiny little pieces right here, and she calls it snowballing, where we're going to draw a diagonal line right here on these little pieces. We're going to sew on that diagonal line, cut it, and then fold it over so that it gives that pumpkin that rounded shape. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to make my pumpkin now, and I have marked my my squares here with the diagonal. And so what I'm going to do is just put them up in these corners, in each corner, and sew across this diagonal, clip it 1/4 inch, and then iron it down. And it'll make a square with the background fabric in the corners. there they are sewn on. Now I'm going to cut them at 1/4 inch. Put my line on the seam. There we go, we got our pumpkin. So here's my pumpkins with the snowballing corners here. Got those all finished. Now I'm going to make the part that goes across the top that has the stem and the leaf right here. So I made myself a half square triangle with the background and the leaf fabric. And I'm going to use that to make this block right here, where we've got the stem, the leaf, and then the background fabric. So we sew all of these together, and then we'll sew it to the top of this. And then our block will be done, I think. Have to see what else. Oh, and then this will go on top of the block to make it as big as the other pumpkins. So I have to make the other half square triangle, and all I did was I drew a line diagonally, and then when I went to the sewing machine I put my 1/4 inch of my foot here so that my seams are here, and then I just cut here and I'll square it off at I think it's 1.5 inches square, and that's how I got these pieces. So I'm going to put all of this together and bring that back. Okay, here's the block for the stem and the leaf, and it's going to go together in this order. And you want your leaf to come up from the pumpkin, so it's going to go like that. There's our block. Okay, so I've got all my stem and leaf blocks done. And they're going to go right on top of the pumpkins, just like this. So that's all we're going to do is sew these on, and then this gets sewn onto the top. So that's all that's left to do, and then we've got our small little pumpkin. Okay, so we're down to the end of assembling the pumpkin blocks. We've got our stem and our leaf. We're going to attach it here to the top of a pumpkin, and then after that we're going to attach the top part of the block here of the background. So here's my little pumpkin blocks all done. They have turned out so cute. I mean, look at the stems on these two. I didn't even plan that with the eyes. They are just adorable. So we've done the small pumpkin blocks this week, and we've done the brooms. And there's the finished brooms right there. And the pumpkin blocks. So, and to recap last week, I've got my other blocks out. My Ohio stars. The small, the medium, and the large size. So there's the small right there. And I fussy cut those centers. Here's the medium. Again, I fussy cut the centers on this. This one has the black triangles on the side. And then the large, which is large. This is a big block. See if what I can do with one hand. And there's my large Ohio star. So this is about 24 by 24 inches. This block is. Isn't that adorable? Fabric. So I hope you enjoyed watching me put this together. I've really enjoyed doing it. I love Halloween, so when you enjoy the end product, then the journey is a joy also. So thank you for coming along with me.